when we consider rational expressions, and we may consider functions and rational expressions that are actual functions, we have to consider that a denominator of 0 is not going to help us. A denominator of 0 means we don't have a solution at all. So we have to, when we have certain problems, we have to find out what are the restrictions on the variable. In other words, what is x not allowed to be equal to, or it would give us a division by 0 problem. So in this one, what you really do is you take the denominator of your problem and you set it to 0. And then you solve for x. Well, I would subtract 9 from both sides. Remember that negative is in front of the x, so it's still a negative x, but 0 minus 9. Then I'm going to divide by negative 1. And I'll say that x, if x was equal to 9, you can see that we would have 9 minus 9, which is 0. So what is x not allowed to be? Well, x cannot be a 9. Let's look at the second one. 2x plus 9 is my denominator here. So I'm going to find out what is x not allowed to be, or that would actually be a 0, and division by 0 is of course not allowed. I'll set 2x plus 9 equal to 0. Subtracting 9 from both sides gives me 0 minus 9. Dividing both sides by 2 gives me negative 9 halves. So x cannot be negative 9 halves. Everything else should be okay, but not that. Now let's look at this one. We got a little more work to do with this function. It looks like we have to figure out what x is, and we have a trinomial. It does have a GCF, and a GCF is x, isn't it? Let's set this equal to 0 first, though. Let's take our denominator and set it equal to 0. Let's factor out the GCF over here, which is x. And now we have a trinomial of x squared plus 2x minus 8, still equal to 0, right? And now it looks like I've got something I can factor. This trinomial, let's try it. I would say it's a plus and minus as far as the signs. Factor the x squared. I want factors of negative 8 that will combine. We'll subtract, right? Because one's positive and one's negative. We'll subtract to give me 2. Well, what if I had 4 times 2? And I made the 4 positive and the 2 negative. Let's FOIL it. X times x is x squared. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Inside 4x, outside negative 2x. Well, 4 minus 2 is a positive 2. So here I have 1, 2, 3 possibilities. X cannot be 0, right? What else can x not be? I set them all to 0 and solve to find out. And I'll subtract 4 from both sides here. And I find negative 4. For the third one, I'll add 2 to both sides. And there's my 3 possible problems. If x was 0, negative 4, or 2, I would have division by 0. So negative 4 is the smallest one. 0 and 2, I'll write them in ascending order.